Hey friends, welcome back to Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Tube. I'm Kayla. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me on Whip Wednesday. So go ahead and tell us what's your whip today. What have you got you're working on, or it may not be a crochet project. It could be anything that's holding your interest today and keeping you busy. Tell us about it in the comments below. Whew. I'll be very honest with you guys, this is not what I had planned for today. I had planned to put all this together today and for that to be my whip today, but I had just not felt up to it. I got up not feeling well, and I thought, well, I had a long day yesterday, going out of town for a doctor's appointment. So I thought, well, you know, I'm just wore out from that. Plus, I had a lot of reflux going on during the night and just didn't sleep well. Was just, you know, just having a bad day. We all have that. And so I just chalked it up to had a bad day, you know, having a bad day. Well, as my morning went on, I just got sicker and sicker, and to the point of, you know, after Paige left. Now, if you're new here and don't know, Paige is a lady who lives out in my community, and I pay her to come and give me my meds and a feeding through my feeding tube. And so she comes for a couple hours a day. So when she left, I went and laid down to take a nap, and I dozed right off because I was tired. But I woke right up. I only slept for about 30 minutes. Well, 30 minutes after I had gotten to bed, I was up throwing up mucus and just sick. Not having a good day at all. So I've been up dealing with that. And this is not the project I had planned. I had something else planned, but what I have been doing and what I'm doing right now is I'm cranking out some pieces for projects, and this is just one of the projects I'm working on. I have some pieces here for a project that I'm now ready to put together. I don't have every piece made. I have to put it together to see how tall it is, and then I can finish it off. This that I'm working on here, I'm not going to say what these projects are because they are future videos. And I just don't want to say what they are. On this particular piece that I'm doing, I have 5 pieces of it made. This is the 6th piece, and then I'll, you know, it'll be done. So on this, I needed some waste yarn, and so that's what I've got going on right here. Is I'm just cranking out some waste yarn, that green, and then this this color here is my yarn, and I'm gonna get it here to this black needle because that is going to indicate where I'm beginning. Even though it has a little bit right there, it's not that many stitches to make a difference in the pattern. So I get a lot of questions as in what yarns, you know, work best for addies or knitting machines in general and stuff. I'm just going to be honest with you, there's no answer to that. There's not a true answer to that. I am working with some loops and thread today. It's just a basic value yarn, and this colorway is does it really not say a color? VS164 or V5164. I don't know. I'm surprised it doesn't. Oh, bisque. B-I-S-Q-U-E. Bisque. That is the color of what I'm working on right here. And so people are always asking, you know, like what yarn works the best. Well, I have a bunch of these different machines, and they all like different yarns. It's really funny the way, you know, you might buy the same machine I have and might find that a certain yarn works best for you in a yarn, where I find that yarn doesn't work that well in my machine. It all is. And a lot of people think knitting machines, oh, that's easy. Anybody can do that. It's a learning curve. You have to learn how to use it. You have to learn how to hold your tension. It's not a just take it out of the box and create something marvelous. You have to learn how to keep those stitches on there. It's a learning curve. Your first project isn't going to turn out wonderful. You have to play with it a lot and get to know your machine, get to know what yarn it likes, and figure it out. And some of my machines really like big twist yarn, and I can run big twist yarn through those machines all day long. But guess what? Big twist is, you know, going away. It's, you know, gone. And so I do have a little big twist yarn in there that's very precious and will turn into awesome projects. This right here is that Loops and Thread. Now this is the newer of that value yarn. The old Craft Smart yarn, the machines didn't like it because it's, I don't know, that yarn had some kind of like, felt like it had like a plastic coating on it, and none of my machines really like that older yarn of that. Some machines like Red Heart yarn, and some machines don't like Red Heart yarn. Some machines like the Walmart Mainstays. It usually glides through the machines pretty good. I love this yarn. Some machines love that. And I always use a 4-weight yarn. You know, you can't use anything bigger than that. You're not going to be able to do bulky yarns and stuff like that on here. And see, this yarn that I'm trying to use right now, I'm going to have to take this project off because it has dropped. It dropped every other stitch right here. 1, 2, 3 stitches. It's dropped. It's got several stitches on that one. So, and it's dropped a stitch there. It's got extra stitches on that one, extra stitches on that. And so, and just pulling that, I'm trying to see, I'm going to pull this, turn this around and look at that side and see what's going on. Sometimes they just don't play right, and you may have to try, you know, take everything off and do it again. So you might think, well, why bother? If it's that much trouble, why bother? Because when it works beautifully. And it's really, it just takes some learning and just getting to know how it affects with different yarns. And I'm trying to see, is this going to, how's this going to play out? Because the piece I'm making is going to be doubled, and that means if I have a bad end, it will be up inside the project and you won't see it. So sometimes if it starts off bad and you can still save it, it's okay. So like this has a whole little bad section on it, but it's coming, it's still working. So I might just keep going. Oh, but the other problem is I didn't count stitches. I mean, I didn't count my rows. So I'm going to have to start over anyway. I did not count my rows, and this counter is broke. It jumps and counts like lots and lots of stitches. Rows, I mean. So to take stuff off, you just, when you mess up, the machine messes up rather, and you need to take stuff off, you just swirl it around twice and it should fall off. But there's always a couple of stitches that want to just hang on there, so you have to take that off manually, and then that's how it comes off. So yeah, I did not count my rows, so I have no idea where I'm at. And I'm just going to redo it. And try, you know, put my waist yarn back on there. Not all projects call for a waist yarn, but if you're going to, like, try to crochet the ends together or sew the ends together of your project, a waist yarn is helpful for that. But for the most part, you don't need waist yarn for, I'd say, most projects. And I have a bucket right below me. This is a tip that I think everybody should listen to. Pay attention to if you're interested in knitting machines. I have a plastic bucket from Dollar Tree right between my feet, sitting on the floor. I have my yarn in that bucket, and so it comes up, the yarn comes up and through this. This helps give it a little bit of tension coming up out of the skeins of yarn, or either if I just have a pile of yarn in the bucket, that helps give it a little tension, and it seems to work the best for me in that position. Now, you might find a different position that works best, but if you're having issues, try that. Now, this is my golden rule, and I've said this in videos years ago. This is my golden rule for yarn. When I have a machine and I try yarn in it, and say it's hard to turn, it don't want to take it, I'll just take that yarn off, and I'll try it one more time, at least one more time. And if it won't turn and won't take the yarn, then that yarn is not for this machine. Now, if I have a yarn and it's working beautifully, but you see it skipping some, I might take it off and try it one more time and see if it will, you know, that in that case, I might try it 2 or 3 times, as long as the handle's turning correctly. But if my handle don't want to turn and it's like struggle, stop. You don't want to break anything. You don't want to break those gears. You don't want to break your handle. So I don't force yarn that doesn't want to play. I don't force it to play. Now, on a yarn like what I showed you just a minute ago, where it was skipping, but yet it was very smooth and, you know, seemed like it wanted to play, I might give that one 2 or 3 tries, just to see if I can get it to, you know, pick up the stitches. And I was going really slow, but, anyway, so this is the yarn I'm using. I just gotta put, my waist yarn back on there. And I don't worry about using a weight or anything when I'm just doing waist yarn. So you do it, you weave in and out every other needle. And that's how you load your machine. In and out. Okay, so I'm going to tell y'all something really funny. Now, this particular machine, it doesn't work on. Y'all know Big Daddy has been cranking out some tubes for me to turn into, you know, plushies and things like that. So he's been back there in the den. I don't know if I just messed up. I might have. We'll see as it goes around. So Big Daddy's been out there back yonder sitting in the den just cranking out some tubes. Well, I had a project that I wanted to do, and I don't know, he was doing something. Maybe he was eating. He was doing something, and so I didn't want to bother him. And I told him what I was doing, and he didn't offer to crank out the tubes. So I came in here, and I remembered that I have my screwdriver with the handle piece on it. And so I ordered this off Amazon. It's a screwdriver. It's not a drill. And I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. Anyway, so Big Daddy had come through here to go to the bathroom. And I had this to go, and I had it hooked to one of my little machines. My small Addie loves this thing. They work perfect together. Big Daddy come in here, and he looked at that, and he was like, no, you aren't. And he went on the bathroom, and he was in there just fussing the whole time. And then he come out, he's like, I can't believe you. Oh, I really forgot about that, because I don't use this normally. But I had 100 rows that I needed to crank out on that small little machine, 22 needles. And so I thought, let me just try that. And it worked perfect. And I had to do that 8 times, so it was really 800 rows. And it worked great together. But you should have saw the look on Big Daddy's face when he realized, and he knew I had this, but he forgot too. And I had forgot. So it was just so funny, though, to see the look on his face when he come in here and I was using that and not just sitting there cranking it out like he had been doing. It was hilarious. Okay, so a lot of people use drills and such. Some people use electric screwdrivers. Some people use electric drills. Now, I personally would not use an electric drill because it's too powerful. And it's going to overheat and start melting gears, and just, it's not going to be good for your gears on the inside. But a screwdriver is not as powerful, and it's not going to, you know, overheat and get as hot and such. So if you want to use something like that, I would suggest using a screwdriver and not a drill. I ordered this on Amazon. I think it was probably about 15 bucks. And then I ordered this this part right here on Amazon. It fits on just all these machines. It can fit on all of them. And I'm not sure how much it was. Probably about 10 bucks, I'm gonna say. And you just put that on the end. The drill come with drill bits. And this is just a rechargeable, so I plug it up in there and let it charge. Just a phone cord is what it looks like that came with it. And let that sucker charge, and then I can use it on my, especially my small Addie. It really does well with this little screwdriver. The screwdriver does not do well with my 48 needle Centro. It might with yours. I'm not saying this doesn't work with any of them. It doesn't work with mine. It tends to just knot. It tends to knot, like the keys, the needles up here. It's going so fast that it just skips a whole section about like this and doesn't do any of the needles. So all machines are different. Your machine might not do that. It's literally, even though all the machines are, you know, made the same, it's working with you and trying to figure it out, and it just takes some work. It does. I'm using a little too much waste yarn, but I didn't want to cut this waste yarn because I wanted to keep it about this length already that I have, so I didn't want to cut it. I'm just using too much waste yarn, because normally you would use about anywhere from 5 to 10 rows of waste yarn, and I don't know how many rows I've done, but it's probably more than that. But I just wanted to keep this little bit of waste yarn at this length and not cut it, so I'm going a little overboard with the waste yarn. And I have another little ball of it right here to be my waste yarn at the end of the project. And I have another one right here. So anyway, just trying to think of different yarns that you know, my machines like. They do like the, oh, what is that yarn? Impeccable? I believe it is. Okay. So to change yarns, you would normally like plan to do this at your starting needles. I'm trying to see, where is my starting needles? I'm not seeing them. Oh, way over there. Way over there. I should have just stopped on the last, because I got to thinking about something for here. I'm just going to get myself over to the starting needles, and then I'm going to change yarns, because I got to thinking about something that I need my, and I didn't tie that because it's, I went just a little second too far. But it's okay. Where's my clippers? Here they are. I didn't tie that because it's not really a project. And I'm not going to tie this either because it's not really a project. So I'm going to take this and lay it in here. And I want it to catch on that last black needle. I would normally do the first or middle, but for some reason it's wanting me to do, the machine chose for me to do the last, so that's what we're doing. And like I said, I'm not, I'm gonna leave a little bit more tail. I'm not tying that off. Actually, I'm gonna put my clip in here to give it just a little bit of weight. And I'm not tying those together because this is the start of my project. The other was just waste yarn. And to explain to you what waste yarn does, once you take your project off, you can do things where your project actually begins, like crocheting the two sides together and stuff like that, and then take your waste yarn off and your stitches were there for you. Oh no, I'm probably not explaining that great because I just, you know, don't feel that well, so I may not be explaining it perfect. But I gotta do 60 rows. Was it 60? So that is one row, but let me check my what I'm doing here. No, I gotta do 36 rows. Okay, I'm glad I checked that. So I was supposed to do, 5 to 6 rows of waste yarn. And then my project, and then I'll do 5 or 6 rows of waste yarn, and then just let it fall off the machine. So only 36, but anyway, that's what I'm doing today. And I don't know if I can count these and talk at the same time. That's 2 rows, rounds on the second row. 3. But anyway, yeah, that's the way knitting machines are. It is a learning curve. I'm gonna get this to 5. And I think that is 5. I don't know. It's good enough. I think it's on about row 5. And if I'm a row or 2 off, it really doesn't matter. The project will still turn out. The project that I'm working on. Some projects you might actually need to keep up with exactly how many rows you're doing. And some projects can be forgiving in that. It just depends on the project that you're working on. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to come on and chat with you guys for a minute. And I'm just having a rough day. Probably recovering from everything yesterday. Plus dealing with, chronic illness on top of all that. Just really got me down today. Where, I'm just not feeling that wonderful. But I'm still trying to create. I'm going to try to crank out these 36 rows and start working on. Then I'll have all this project done. That's the 6th thing I needed for that project. But anyway, guys, I will let you all get going, and I'll see you in the next video. Love you all, and hope you have a wonderful day. Friends, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me and keeping me company for a little while today while I'm not feeling so well. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Remember, it's a wonderful day to crochet. I said that totally backwards, didn't I? I love you. I'll see you in the next video.